commitment and, you know, the intentionality. You know, everybody shows up, comes to work, you know, ready to put the work in. And, you know, every day you can't get a day back, you know, and everything has, you know, great importance. Time is starting to move fast, so every day matters.
With Quinshon out, how much more do you feel like is on your shoulders, on your plate, to kind of fill the gap and, you know, take on maybe a bigger role?
Man, I just come in prepared the same way I've always came in. You know, I don't really feel pressure. I just have standards of how I want to operate, and you know, the standards obviously my coach has set for me, and that's the standard I try to hold myself to every morning I wake up.
If you're called upon to be the workhorse back in place of Quinshon, 3-on back, whatever, the first or any ever games of the season, how poised do you feel? How ready do you feel for that kind of
Once again, I'm just a day-by-day kind of person, you know. I got to lay the foundation down right now, you know, in training camp. And, you know, obviously battle it out with everybody we have in the room. You know, we all push each other. But, you know, being with Coach Deuce, amazing coach. We got a lot of other great coaches on this staff. You know, if I do things the right way, if we all do things the right way, you know, we should all be ready to be mentally in that spot to, you know, do whatever it takes to go win football games.
How much of Deuce's personal experience, how much does he convey that?
Yeah, I mean, you can feel it every day, you know, and it's a different type of connection. You know, he's played the game at the highest level for, you know, many years. So, you know, he coaches from, you know, what he knows what works, you know, and with a lot of passion. So I love that, you know. He hard on us because he wants us to be the best. And that's it, you know, I take that with a grain of salt every day.
What's the hardest?
Camp and through the first part of training camp, what do you feel good about, like the things that you've put on tape, the things that you've been able to do on the field? What have you been able to show this team in your time out there?
You know, just finally getting back to, you know, OTAs, we really weren't allowed to run the ball too much, you know, just because of contact and stuff. But, you know, finally get back in the swing of things of, you know, getting behind, you know, pullers, getting behind the O-linemen, really getting back into the field of, you know, actually running the ball. I think I'm getting a good feel for that, and just the understanding of the playbook. You know, I think I'm putting confidence in the coaches that I can dissect all the information, whether I'm out wide, whether I'm in the backfield, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Deuce talked about this bag drill, you hold the bag up, and the band drill that you guys do. What's the hardest thing that he's put you through as a coach to this point?
And so he's big on just, you know, he does nothing extra. Like he says, what we do is what we do, and it's not gonna change, you know. So it's a repetition thing. I just think the combination of everything, just back to back and into every single day, is what gets you. You know, you go from the band to the sandbags, and everything we do is weighted. You know, to put power in that. You know, have explosion and stuff. But like what he does, you know, he does what he knows works.
How much are you looking forward to having Quinshon back when he is able to join you guys, and how were you guys maybe starting to develop some good synergy together?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I can't speak too much on the, you know, situation, and you know, pray for everybody involved in it. But yeah, I mean, we were definitely developing that relationship. But you know, I speak no further about that. You know, I know as much as y'all do.
You mentioned Deuce being hard on you guys. He was saying that he wouldn't want to play for himself as a player. How do you feel about being coached hard?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to take it with a grain of salt. You know, he's not attacking you personally, you know, and I don't ever feel like he's attacking personally. He's just attacking the play on the field, you know, to be the best every single day. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, he's had experience with it, had experience with a lot of the great backs. So it's like, you know, why am I going to be the one to argue with that? You know, I want to be the best I can be.
We asked you about that. Is there a part of you that almost likes being like that relishes that kind of physicality, getting to do that?
I really don't like being hit, to be honest. Like, you know, if I can, like, I like to stay up on the ground. I mean, stay up with my feet running. But it definitely, like, the welcome back to football, you know, type. So
Is he telling the truth?
Get him. I'm over here telling the truth. Fine.
Dylan, how have Jerome and Pierre just kind of provided any sort of leadership for you, and kind of as you've gotten acclimated, how have they helped you in this process?
Yeah, just, you know, with the action, through the actions, you know, in the meeting room, I love our meeting room because it's just an open discussion. You know, coach engages everybody, you know, making sure we're retaining information. But, you know, Jerome and Pierre have been great. They had that, you know, fair share of years in the league, so it's you know, things to learn from both of them, and they've been sharing it, you know, how they know how.
Coach O'Shea yesterday said that his group was looking forward to the pads on so they could help in the run game. What's it been like maybe working with the wide receivers? How have they been a part of your guys' development in your room too?
No, they definitely been putting a great emphasis on that, and that's a big emphasis. Just this team in general, everything. It's a team sport, so just like the quarterback can't get the ball off unless we protect. Big runs happen when receivers block down the field, and it's a big emphasis on that. And I'm seeing everybody is giving 100% effort in that.
Dylan, Deuce was talking about physicality, and he's like, he expects that in everybody. It's almost like a mindset instead of size, strength. What, can you kind of expound on that and how you feel like that? You mentioned you didn't like quite getting hit, but how has that kind of changed for you as you kind of gone through the last this process?
It's not that I don't like getting hit. I just don't like getting tackled. That's the thing, and I think that's the mindset that he goes to. Whatever you can to do up to stay on the ground, to stay off the ground. That's my mindset. That's kind of how I've been in college. You go back and watch. I don't like getting tackled, like for real. Whatever I can do to stay up, I'm gonna try to do that. So I don't think it's something I have to adjust to because that's kind of how I've been playing football my whole life. And yeah.
I know you haven't had many reps with Miles yet, with your pads on and 11 levels, but what do you think that's going to be like, and what have you experienced just in the limited amount of time you've had going against him so far?
Oh, I mean, you can see, definitely just a technician, and everything he does. Tenured vet, has, a lot of experience. So, yeah, man, glad he's on our team and stuff like that. But it's definitely going to, help me get better. I love going against great D linemen. It makes me have to, make different cuts, be a little more physical in the backfield. And, yeah, I'm just excited to, play with a lot of great players.